And welcome to the podcast, guys, with Rob and Nando. Tonight, we have a special guest coming back on the show. Right before we introduce him, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, the podcast guys. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, you name it. Threads, Spotify, Facebook. Check us out there. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel as well on YouTube. Like the video, hit that notification button, and support your boys. We're aiming for over 100K subs, so we're not quite close yet, but one at a time we will be. So make sure you check us out. And without further ado, let's welcome one of the best in the game. Welcome back, SB Dating, to the show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing absolutely well. I appreciate you boys for having me on once more. Always a pleasure with yourself.
Thank you for coming on, man. I'm looking forward to getting into some topics. For the people that don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a dating coach. How long have you been doing this? How did you get into it?
Yeah. So thank you for that, fellas, once more. So I'm a dating coach. My name is Scott. These boys know me as SB Dating. We've been doing the dating coaching business for about a year now. Really one of my passion projects in terms of helping men out. I feel like men need so much help in this world in terms of relationships, navigating their lives, bringing more women into their lives, everything having to do with everything. So appreciate you guys again for having me on. This is something that I love doing. And you guys could follow me on Instagram at sbdating._. You could also find me on YouTube, Scott, and then the initial E. And then I believe TikTok is the same, sbdating._. Let's get right into this.
Awesome.
Awesome. Welcome, SB Dating. Welcome back to the show. You were here last time with Czar, so
Yes, sir.
It's a pleasure always having you on. And why don't we go ahead and get into the first question, Rob? Why don't you go ahead and bring that up?
Yeah, so this is always a hot topic when it comes to dating, so I think it makes sense for us to start off with it. SB, so from your experience working with clients one-on-one, what do you think are the biggest red flags and green flags in women? What should men be on the lookout for?
When I talk about a red flag specifically, I think you got to start with the most obvious ones. Me personally, if I always like to look at how a woman markets herself, right? And I think personally, when it comes to, the type of attention that she's trying to get, fellas, you got to always look out for like the sexual attention. You gotta stray away from that. That was what I would say is my biggest red flag come to date that I'll try to tell my guys is like, yo, go check the social media, go check the Instagram, go check, how it is that she's marketing herself, and just ask yourself, like, is this a woman that you actually want to take seriously? And that's pretty much my biggest one.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that there's a lot of red flags out there, and that's a big one. I mean, when you talk about something like that, how about when it comes to consistent chaos? That's a red flag. What do you have to say about that when it comes to women and bringing chaos to their home, to the guy's home?
I think when it comes to chaos, you got to ask yourself like a couple of questions, right? You got to ask yourself like, I think for men, the most important thing is peace, right? Like, how much do we value peace? Mm-hmm. And if your woman isn't able to bring you a level of peace, then what does that kind of say, right? You gotta ask yourself. I think guys need to ask themselves how much are they really willing to take, and then kind of take it from there.
Yeah, honestly, there's an entire list of red flags that we could come up with, but that's I think the biggest one, because the worst type of a woman that you could bring into your life is the type of woman that's going to make your life chaotic, right? Meaning arguments, drama. She brings unnecessary problems into your life. So I think that's really the biggest one. Now, aside from red flags, what are some things that you think men should look for in women? Like, what's like a green flag? Like, okay, you know what? I could actually see myself putting effort into this woman. She might be potential relationship material. I can move forward with this.
Absolutely, bro. Excuse me. I think honestly, guys, and this is something that doesn't get talked about a lot. Always look out for a woman that's showing you appreciation, right? Like when you guys go on a first date, is the woman saying thank you? Is she kind? Is she polite? Because those things go a long way. When you get into a relationship with a woman, do you know how important it is or how good it feels as a man when you just feel seen to a degree, right? We're going out, we're doing all these things. you know, there's really two types of women, right? You got women that are like, oh, you know, he should be doing this.
Mhm.
Then you have the women that can actually show you appreciation for the little things that you do. I think that goes a long way. And I think I got to give testament to my mother, actually, right? Because I would watch my father go in and, you know, work hard and everything. And then I will watch my mother be like, hey, you know, your father's working really hard. Like, let's go easy on him tonight, or you know, I'm going to give him a break, or I'm going to give him a massage or something like that. So that's something I grew up around, and that's something I tell all my guys, like, go and look out for that appreciation. 100%.
Yeah, I think when a man comes home from work, for example, and a woman pulls him to the side and she's like, you know, so-and-so, whatever the guy's name is, you've been amazing. You've been doing such a great job with working hard, waking up every day, struggling to keep this family whole financially, supporting us, paying the bills, just keeping us afloat in this tough world that we're living in. It's a tough world in this economy, just a tough world in general, trying to deal with a boss, trying to deal with the workplace, who you work with, what you do for work, and all those struggles that you have to encounter on a daily basis, day in, day out. I think a woman saying, I appreciate you, I thank you, and we honor you, I adore you, all that coming from a woman and much more. I'm probably leaving out a bunch of other ways women can compliment a man in that regard. That will blow a man away, and he's going to go out and do it 10 times harder the next day.
10 times more. Yep. 10 times more, because like you said, right? I think the biggest, like I said, the biggest discernment of that is, like, go after women who aren't just going to, like, look at you as this, you know, super robotic, like, he's just supposed to do this, he's supposed to do that. Like, I'm a big fan of, you know, we have our jobs, we have our things that we need to do, and, you know, you can take accountability for those things. But, bro, just being fucking seen is, like, so important, you know?
It's huge.
We live in an era where men, unfortunately, are underappreciated as a whole. So when you meet a woman that genuinely shows you that she appreciates you and you being there for her and your whatever relationship you have with her, it's really massive. And yeah, I agree with you 100%. If a woman shows you that she, you know, even it's such a simple thing as just like spending quality time without her making it into like, oh, you got to spend money on me and take me here and there, like you said, like a very transactional type of relationship. To me, that's a very big green flag.
You know what else is huge, fellas? Like, if you take a woman out on a first date, you know you're gonna pay. Like,
Yeah.
we all know,
Right.
you know, we all know we're gonna pay for it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, does she even offer? You
Right.
know what I mean? Does she even, like, oh, at least try to fake?
At least try.
Mhm.
At least put
try.
the
At
effort.
least take the purse out, like
You know.
Like, hey, I got you.
Yeah.
I always want to get my man. This is women telling their men, hey, I got your back. Obviously, the guy's gonna say, no, put that away. I got you. Don't worry about it.
And you know what too? Like, if there's any women watching this, you know, this is kind of some free sauce for the women. Like, you do these little, it's always about the little things. You do these little things, like, you're gonna, unfortunately, there's not a lot of women that do this sort of stuff. Like, you're gonna be blowing us away, you know, if you really want to separate yourself.
Yeah.
Big time. I mean, for a woman, like you said, to make the effort to just start taking out the credit card, putting the credit card on the table or the cash or whatever it is, the guy's just going to take it and give it right back to you. At least you tried. At least you showed him that there's a compassionate side to you, that you care, that you're thoughtful, that it's not all about, he's the provider. We know that. Men are providers. That's what they're supposed to do. But if you show that side that's valued of that man, you see that value and you want to step in once in a while and put out, and you're willing to put out for him legitimately, you know, and he, you know, let's say he's struggling one day and he takes it, oh, I forgot my wallet at home, legitimately, not, you know, a guy making it up that he forgot his wallet. He legit forgot his wallet. Hey, can you put down and, you know, I'll get you later. And she says, yeah, I mean, that's huge, you know, or she just comes from contribution and trying to support her man and her family, if they have a family as well. I think that's huge. It's going to benefit the woman probably way more than the guy, because he's just going to go all out for her, for the family, you know, working, doing all these extra things. He may come home and do things at home that maybe she doesn't work, but he'll do some extra jobs. Maybe he'll cook, maybe he'll clean and go the extra mile to give that to her because she's being so appreciative of him.
Absolutely. Yeah, like it's almost like growing like it's almost like growing a plant, right? It's like listen, here we are. You know, I'm this man, and like it's not that I need specific things. Like I'm good by myself and everything like that. But when you put in that water and you start to, you know, you can really make a man grow beyond even what he even thought he was capable of just those little simple things, support, appreciation. So fellas, you watching this, those are definitely things that you want to look for in a woman that I think is great. Another thing that I would say in terms of a green flag is that, right? Like, does a woman see your dreams, your visions, your goals, right? I think with a woman, it's important for her to see those things, but it's another thing for her to support those things, right?
So it's more like supportive of the guy's growth and wanting him to win.
Absolutely. That's like a cheat code. Like, and again, any ladies watching this, if you show a guy that you support him just as much in his dream than he does himself, we'll take over the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys that take pride in their ambition. They go out there and they have a goal. They have something in mind that they want to achieve. It could be something at their job. Maybe they're trying to get some sort of raise. Maybe they're trying to get into a better position. And when a woman is right there alongside, pushing him up, motivating him, doing things that she can take off of his plate, that's something that he's going to thrive off of, and that's going to put him in a better position to be able to accomplish those feats, those things that come his way. I think that's huge. Women supporting their man. If a woman comes out supporting her man, I think that's huge. And I think that's a boundary that men should set. Hey,
absolutely,
we're going to be here to support each other, not me just you or you just me. We're going to support each other in any which way possible.
Absolutely.
And not some 50-50 BS where it's like halfway, like I'm going to support you 100%, you're going to support me 100%.
Absolutely, bro. Couldn't agree with you more.
I have another topic that I'd like to transition into. So we live during a time where a lot of men fall into the simping, right? You meet an attractive woman, you try to impress her, you spend money on her, you lead with your wallet. So why don't we get into that a little bit, SB? So how are men setting themselves up for these like transactional type of relationships with women?
Oh my goodness, where do I start? Listen, guys. When it comes down to everything, I'm a big advocate of this. If you are a guy who, and I know it's hard in today's time, but if you are a guy who thinks that women just want you for the money, that they just want you for anything external, anything materialistic, and you feel like, yo, I cannot be valuable to a woman until I acquire XYZ thing, I think you're setting yourself up to be a simp. Because if you can't see the value in yourself now, then when you acquire all of the money, you're going to think that that's what women want and that's what you're going to lead with at the end of the day. So you're just setting yourself up. And we all know, like, when it comes down to being a simp, it's all about giving all of this resource for somebody that doesn't even appreciate it, or somebody that, or in other words, like you're using the resource to try to get somebody. It's transactional, right? It's like it's, you know.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of those things where leading with your money does not work. And then if you do lead with your money, then women are going to see you flat out as a blank check. I can get this guy to pay for anything that I want because he wants me so bad, right? Yeah. He's so in love with me, so he's going to do everything in every which way to please me. So she likes money, obviously. Women like to have things purchased for them. They like the gifts, they like the luxuries, they like the fun, they like the travel. So they're going to take advantage of that. And who can blame them? I can't blame the women. If men are paying,
you're going to lead with it. You're going to lead with it.
Yeah. I mean, if men are paying and they're giving it up, women are going to sit back and take it. They're going to be like, well, he's giving it to me. It's not my fault.
Right.
Am I going to sit here and not accept it?
Right.
So it's a lesson for the man out there to not lead with your wallet.
Right.
You know, I'm seeing guys buy like cars for their women and things like that. I mean, you may be in a relationship with them, but you don't need to buy them a car to keep them happy. There's other ways that you can keep them happy without having to go out of your pocket 20, 30, 40, 50K or more.
Well, that's the thing, right? If you're thinking that your money and what you spend on her is going to keep her, right? Like when you lead with those things, that's what she's going to latch onto. Anything you lead with, that's what she's going to latch onto. So you need to lead with who you are as a man, right? Like you're trying to take her to these extravagant places. You're trying to impress her right away. Like, why don't you implement those things after you've established, yo, this woman, I know for a fact that this woman likes me for myself. You know, like you hear it all the time from like professional athletes and everything, or people that are famous. Like, what do they want the most? They just want a woman to like them for themselves. Right.
I think they would rather the woman not know what they do. Like
Exactly.
if it's a famous athlete or an actor or some job that they do really, they're popular, they do really well, they make a lot of money. They rather not know they rather have women not know what they do so they can like them for who they are. Exactly. I think they're better off for that, and they can be themselves. You know, they could probably roll around in a 2020 Toyota Camry and maybe they have a Lamborghini parked in their garage somewhere in some nice house. They have an apartment somewhere. They have like 2 separate places, and eventually she may find out that, oh, by the way, I have a pretty good lifestyle. This is a little bit more about me. But you found out right there as a man that she liked you and went with you because of you, not because of what you had or what kind of lifestyle you had.
Yeah. I like to use the term, right? Like finish line women. Right? It's like guys have this like fantasy and this dream. Like this is how the average guy thinks life is gonna be with women, right? Okay. I didn't get a lot, growing up, or I didn't get a lot in my 20s. So what am I going to do? I'm going to prove to the world through all my money that I could attract a woman, that I could get her. Once I have the car, once you see it you probably see it in comments on your videos, right?
100%.
It's all about money. It's all about money.
It's all about money. It's all about money.
As
soon as the money comes, they'll be there. And then what you do is you set yourself up. You're all the way at the end, and you're thinking like, oh, okay, I'm finally ready. I have the life. Like, give me the woman. And then there she is, and she's like, I just want you for this. And she's not going to say that out loud, right? It's not going to be that obvious. But that's all you think your value is. And that's all she's going to latch onto.
Men fall into that trap. Is it low confidence? Is it they just don't understand how women operate? Are they trying to sell themselves to the woman? What do you think is like the root cause of why so many men lead? Like average guys, I'm talking.
Bro, I think guys know that women are like that, right? I don't think that's the problem. I think that some men are so low on themselves. Some men are like okay with that. Some men are okay with
this is what I have to do.
Yeah, like this is what I feel like I have to do. Instead of working on myself underneath the surface, I could just play this shortcut game, and they just set themselves up, bro.
What does a man have to do to work on his confidence, to improve his confidence?
Well, there's a quote. I don't know the exact author, bro. But you gotta if you have fear, if you operate in fear, when it comes to women, when it comes to anything, you gotta run towards the fear itself. And when it comes down to confidence, building your internal confidence, bro, you really gotta sit with yourself, and you gotta figure out like how am I operating, bro? What am I scared of? How many guys are walking around scared of rejection or scared of loneliness or scared of judgment and all these things? And then they get into a relationship. They'll settle for a relationship because, well, at least I feel like this woman won't leave me. She won't make my biggest fear come true. And like if you're a man who wants to build your own confidence, you gotta start loving yourself. You gotta start expanding your comfort zone. You have to do the work just in yourself in any way, shape, or form, and continue to put yourself out there.
We were having a conversation before we started filming. You were talking about how like you see that a lot of men just don't see and I see this in your videos, that men don't see their value.
No.
Men don't see their value because we're always told it's about height, looks, and this and that. They don't even know who they are and what value they bring.
Yeah, I mean, they can't recognize it because a lot of women are judging them based on so many different things. So,
yeah, I mean, look. I think when you eliminate the noise, right? You gotta ask yourself: if I took your car away, if I took your looks away, if I took your money away, what what are people gonna see? What are people gonna?
What's left?
What's
Yeah.
left?
What do you
right?
got? What do you got for
What
me?
do you got? When you guys are fucking, when you guys are 70, 80 years old, you know what I mean? And you got nothing left. Like what's there? Can you show off your personality? Can you show off who you are behind the scenes? Can you show that you have the traits to lead, to be, to be masculine, to be confident, can you show these things under the surface that women are actually like starving for? You know?
100%, because there's a lot of relationships that may have the money and there may be longevity in that relationship because of it, because the guy has money, provides, she's happy for the lifestyle. But as far as that relationship with that person themselves, what is that like? Is that something that's real? Do they care about each other? Do they love each other? Or is she there for the interest of money? Is he there for the interest of sleeping with her? Is this a genuine relationship? And that's a lot of stuff that you kind of see on the surface level, that some relationships may seem like they're going great, but deep down and behind closed doors, it's unlikely that it is.
No, absolutely not. No. So again, I think the route for men is always look inward first, fellas. Absolutely look inward first, because when and we talked about this before the podcast too. So many guys, it's all about like, what does every guy want right now? Oh, like, what's the game, right? What's the game? How could I like, do XYZ step to get XYZ result? Everybody's so worried
Pick up
about the
lines
game
or something. Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? When you look at game, whether it's like, oh, let me wait a couple hours to not text her, or let me, act this way so she thinks that I'm this certain type of guy. Why don't you just become that guy? Why don't you just become that guy that doesn't need the validation of the text back? Why don't you just become the guy that is okay with saying no to somebody?
I think that guys don't see the value in themselves, that if they did that, they think that they may get rejected. They're scared of rejection. They may not be able to get her because they came off in a way where it turned her off. And I think that's where guys are like, maybe I should kind of tiptoe, tread along the line a little bit, and not do something to potentially harm the future of this potential relationship that doesn't even exist yet.
Right. Well, you see what you said there, right? What are you trying to do? You're trying to avoid and skirt your way around rejection. Bro, do you know the only men in this world that will not get rejected are men that don't try? The men that are just in their basement somewhere, scrolling through Instagram, watching a bunch of approaching videos, wishing that they could be that guy. Yeah, you won't get rejected. You're not in the field. You can avoid rejection, but anybody knows when you put yourself out there, you are going to get rejected. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be able to attract every single woman on this planet.
Right.
So you could choose one of two routes. You could either always try to avoid rejection and play it safe with everything in your life, or you could be the man you want to be by literally accepting the fact that rejection is going to happen and building a better relationship with rejection.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
think rejection happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
And you can't get accepted without getting rejected.
Exactly, bro.
It won't happen for you if you don't put yourself out there. I think that's
Yeah, I
pretty
mean, as a
good.
man, you're going to get rejected your entire life. It's going to happen with women. It's going to happen with jobs. It's going to people are going to not like you for no reason. So you should look at rejection, I guess, like as like a stepping stone. Like the more rejections or failures you have, like at least you're moving forward in life. You're making, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you don't want to be that guy that's just sitting like, well, I never got rejected, but I haven't left my house in 3 years.
Let me ask you guys something.
Yeah.
Is rejection a bad thing?
No.
What do you think?
No, because it's a learning experience. You don't win or lose when it comes to asking a girl out and winning by getting her to say yes, or losing by her saying no. I think yes, when she accepts you, like she's willing to go out on a date with you, that's a win, 100%. But if you get rejected and you figure out why, it's more of a learning experience, so you know what mistake not to make the next time.
Exactly.
What things to avoid the next time, what things to possibly do the next time.
I have a question for you, SB, and I think this is something that goes through a lot of guys' heads. Do you think that men should wait for some sort of a signal or a sign of interest from a woman to approach her and to try to talk to her, or should you just go straight for it?
No. Honestly, I think if you're a guy, you should get into a very healthy habit. Like, if you see a woman that you find attractive genuinely, you don't need a sign. You don't need like a wink. You don't need like is this a safe thing to do? You don't need any of that, because you're not a burden. You're not a bother. You're somebody in a normal, situation who's saying, I think this woman is attractive. I am curious to see, what this woman's about. And it's funny because, choosing signals are real, right? Like, women will give you signals of interest, right? Whether it's, I always talk about a woman like giving you a look, right? You're like, you see her, you guys make eye contact, you notice it once, it keeps happening like 2-3 times, and the eye contact feels very light, you know what I mean? You're like, okay. And then other times, a woman will come into your vicinity. The point is, that's how women approach you. That's how, because women aren't going to do the work for you.
That's her shooting her shot.
That's her shooting her shot.
That's her signal.
Yeah, and that's her signal. And you should take advantage of those opportunities because they're layups. But at the same time, you don't have to wait and rely on that. Because here's the thing, right? Women a lot of the time when they're walking out in public, they're not necessarily expecting to be approached, but that doesn't mean that it's a wrong thing to do, or that doesn't mean that you can't do it. I think what a lot of guys on the internet do wrong, and you see this all over the approach videos all over the internet, is they'll go up to a woman and just like shower her. Like, oh my goodness, you're the most beautiful woman I've seen today, and you're so gorgeous, let me take you out. It's like the first thing that they say to a woman.
And why is that such a bad way to approach a woman?
Bro, because look at your positioning, right? Look at you're just automatically from the very first sentence, you're basically telling the woman, hey, I don't know anything about you. All I know is that you have a pretty face and I'm willing to do anything. Yeah. That's what you communicate, right? I would rather guys like go out there, make it a habit to just like talk to women. You could even come in very casual. You come in very normal. And then over the course, as you're asking yourself, do I like this woman? Do I vibe with this woman? It's like, you know what? Let me throw in the fact that I think she's cute. Let me give her hints towards like my actual intent here. And let's end this conversation in a way where like we can discuss doing something because this vibe was just so good. We just have to continue it.
Yeah. You just have to find your way towards her. Like you said, whether or not she's giving you choosing signals, whether or not she's making it blatantly obvious that she wants you to hit on her. If you like that woman, you should do everything in your power to find your way towards her. Say, for example, at the gym, because I know a lot of women don't like to get approached at the gym, but there are women that do give looks to men that it seems 100%. Like they want to get approached, choosing signals. It happens to me. If
Playboy.
If I were to see a woman and I can shoot my shot, hey, why not, right?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? So if the opportunity is there, you can basically go up to a woman and be like, oh, are you right next to her, right? She's using a machine and you want to use a machine next to her. You want to make it seem like you want to use a machine next to her. Yeah. You're like, hey, by any chance, are you using this machine? Yeah. And that's how you can spark a conversation just like that. And then you could be like, oh, by the way.
Like, by the way, you looking like you doing some, like, what is it you're doing? Like some crazy, where'd you even learn that from? What does that even hit? Right? Oh, it hits abs or something. Like, oh, are you looking to like run a marathon or something? Are you looking to like be the next bodybuilder? What's going on? Where can I sign up for your coaching? Like, you guys really like overthink every single little thing. And like, if you just gave yourself the permission to say what's on your mind, oh my goodness, you guys will be amazed at what actually happens.
And it's all about men seeing value in that action of taking those steps forward and not, even if she's not looking at you or giving you some sort of signal or wink or waving at you, you going and finding a way towards conversation with her right there. Even if you don't lock in a date, it's a win because now you can build on to the next time you're trying to attempt to ask a woman out, whether it's at the gym, whether it's at an event, whether it's at the supermarket, doesn't matter.
Yeah, let me tell you guys a story, right? Well, not even a story, just a fact. My father in the 90s, okay, was at a gas station, just pumping up some gas on a regular, let's call it a regular Wednesday. just pumping some gas. He sees my mother pumping gas. He approached her. He approached her on the spot. They had a conversation. The conversation went well. He got his, I don't know what they were using back then in the 90s. Maybe he had to get some, I don't know what they were communicating on.
Beeper number.
Little beeper action there.
They beeped each other somehow.
Yo, let me send you a letter sometime.
Exactly. Maybe send it on a horse or something. I don't know what's going on.
Let me send you a telegram.
Send a messenger owl through a window. Whatever it was, they connected in person. He made the move. From there, here I am, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am. And so it's kind of ironic that, I'm here and I'm preaching these things, but it's true. Like, you guys don't understand how many opportunities you pass by every single day. My dad could have just, kept it regular. All right, 87 regular. Oh, let me look at the stars. Oh, there's a pretty woman like there, but I'm not going to do anything about that. I'm just going to let that breeze over. And you guys don't have me, man. And what are we doing?
The crazy thing is,
we've been missing you.
I guarantee you, every man has had that situation where he left a bar or venue and was like, "Fuck, I should have said something."
Oh yeah, and but
all the time.
But bro, what is the pain? Like, guys don't understand. What is the pain of getting rejected compared to the pain of just like avoiding life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that pain where you said, you're like, damn, I missed another opportunity, or I didn't approach again, and you have to live with that all night. All night you're recurring. Oh, what could I have said? What could I have said? And it kills you inside. And even if you went up to this woman and this, maybe she said, I have a boy. That's literally the worst. That's the worst thing that can happen. She's going to be like, oh, I have a boyfriend. And you go like, okay. But there's always that sense of feel good. Like, damn, I did that though.
Yeah.
I went up to her. I faced what was uncomfortable.
Because it could have been a yes.
It could have been a yes. But it doesn't, like if you guys just detach yourself from the outcomes, oh my goodness.
I was going to say the only way to
gosh.
really take the pressure off of yourself is to go into it with not expecting an outcome.
Bro. Yeah. Like there's so much power. Okay. And I'm going to use the word power when I explain this. When you guys see women, the problem is you give them all of the power and how you're supposed to feel. So like, for example, you're so scared of rejection that she has the power to like hurt you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're giving her the power to hurt you.
When she rejects you, then you get hurt.
Yeah. So like, and that comes from leaning on an outcome and saying, oh, like, I will feel amazing if this girl gives me her number. Well, if she doesn't, then what does that mean?
You're gonna feel that like
You're gonna feel it like, damn,
disappointment.
yeah.
And that happens in guys that don't see value in themselves. And guys that don't create value for themselves, because
Exactly, bro.
you have to build both. You have to build the mentality, and you have to build everything else that comes with being a man, attempting to approach women. You want to put yourself in position to approach women. It's not just going up to her and talking to her. It's, how do you look? Do you smell good? Does your breath smell good? Are your teeth in shape or out of line?
Compliment.
Right. It's like all those things, the hair, everything has to be put together. And then your presence, your confidence, your assertiveness, how aggressive you are. Are you too aggressive? Are you not aggressive enough? So there's so many things that maybe guys play too much into their mind that they're not just themselves. But of course, you have to have some sort of other work ready to go physically, mentally, emotionally as well for yourself.
Since we're on this topic, so women are very good at reading men.
Absolutely.
Women could read men like a book. So can you speak to that a little bit and like what men should be aware of?
Yeah, like, guys, you have to understand, like, women are not stupid. Women understand your intentions, what you're trying to do. They understand when you're performing, when you're acting, when you're scared of something, when you're okay with something. And like, so many guys look to so many like shortcuts, right? It's like, well, if I act this certain way, then I'll potentially get this result. Fellas, women read you like a damn book. They know what you're up to. They know when you're faking it. They know when you're playing fraudulent. I'm going to get to that later on, a little bit of a story about myself because I know this firsthand. I think what you want a woman to read is like authenticity at the end of the day, right? How many guys do you know you'll know, like you'll hang out with them, right? You'll see every side of them. Yo, this guy is funny. He's he's got strong opinions. He's my boy. This guy is like charismatic. Put a girl in the room.
Gotcha.
What does he look like from there?
Yeah, where did he go?
Where did he go?
It's like his identity disappeared. The way he is disappeared because a woman that he's attracted to stepped in the room.
Good point.
Now he can't act like himself.
Yeah, that's it.
Good point.
Yeah.
That's it, right? So back to the point of like women reading you like a book, fellas, is like if you truly feel a certain type of way, if you truly walk around being fearful of the rejection and the loneliness, and you're trying to act and play game, like women see through the shit, and a lot of you guys are getting rejected because of that. Like if you just realigned the way you're thinking about things, the perspective, who you are as a man, like if you just paid attention more to that, women will actually like what they're reading under the surface.
100%. I mean, I think women know that men are trying to approach them for
Yeah.
eventually dating and relationship and whatnot, but don't make it super obvious and don't do silly things where she can see right through it and see you as an illegitimate potential mate.
You know what women hate more than anything, fellas? Women hate men who act. Who just like, they're just like a woman hates finding out that you're not who you were trying to be. You know? I don't know if you guys ever experienced that before. Maybe in earlier in your lives, but like when you show a woman like you're not really you are not really who she thought you were originally. Oh, there's no faster way to kill her attraction.
Yeah.
No faster way.
Yeah, usually there's women that are attracted to a man, and then the first thing that comes out of his mouth will turn her off.
Absolutely.
You know, or not just what he says, but how he says it, the way he says it, with maybe not being as confident about what he's trying to say. And women will be like, oh, this guy is handsome, but he turned me off with his personality or his way of speaking or just his way of thinking in general, the way he goes about himself in life or what he does, things like that. So
A gift that women have is like on us, they're very intuitive. You're
Oh
not
my
going to
gosh.
like fake the vibes or the energy. Like if she can feel you within a couple minutes of talking to her, she already like can feel you out.
She read you.
yeah.
She already read you.
That's what I love about our podcast is that, and I'm sure I can see this in SB as well, is that what we say and do and are on camera is basically the same as we are off camera.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing fake about the way we go about things here. So that's what I like, and that's how men should be, you know, not on a podcast because we know that all men don't have podcasts to lean on, but there's just being yourself, whether you're at work, you're this confident, ambitious person, whether you're dealing with a woman, you're confident, ambitious, relentless, hardworking, great personality. When you're with your family, with your parents, you're the same way. When you're on your own, you're the same way.
Yeah.
And it'll come natural. You don't even have to act a certain way and be a certain type of person, be fake, be kind of, you know, emotional in certain ways one day and then another day act emotional differently just to kind of try to impress a woman. So
Yeah, bro. I think what you just described, again, we talk about game. We talk about game and like trying to portray yourself as some sort of person. There's so much freedom in like when you become a certain type of person, you don't have to play game anymore because you're just that person. And I think that's what all men should strive for. But here's the good thing, right? And nobody on the internet really talks about this whatsoever, is when you pursue improvement in dating or relationships, bro, it's like a self-improvement journey amongst itself, right? And like the man that quality women are attracted to is just a more complete, put together man. So take women aside for a second. Wouldn't you just want to be that man in general? A man who's very secure in himself, is not operating from a place of fear, a man who could tell it like it is, all of these different things. Like this is a good place to be as a man. you know, and this is what we need from men. And I think so many guys, you know, they look at women and they almost like resent them, right? Because women are like that mirror of themselves, right? They find a lot of things about themselves when they enter the dating world and they hate it. They don't like it. It feels uncomfortable. But it's such an opportunity for you to improve.
100%.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be just for women. Like, do it for you, and then the women are going to follow as you grow within yourself.
Yeah, women are just a byproduct of your actions. So if you are leading the way in confidence, in being responsible, accountable for your actions, being on top of your game day in and day out, with your daily activities, with what you do at work, at your job, your career, what you do when you go to work out. You know, are you staying on top of your physical? Are you taking care of yourself with your sleep? Are you sleeping enough? Are you eating well, dressing well, smelling good? All these things, you're successful in all these different parts of your life that a woman will slide in and she'll smell that success off of you. You'll sweat it off and she'll see that, like, wow, this guy is something special. Let me get close and see what he's about.
Absolutely.
And basically you start talking to a woman automatically because of it.
Yeah. Notice how we didn't even talk about money in that whole conversation.
There was no money involved.
No money involved.
No simping, no giving money out to women and them seeing that as, okay, this guy's a bank account. He's going to get me what I want, and I'm going to weaponize a relationship, or I'm going to weaponize sleeping with him and take money and take advantage of the monetary value this guy brings.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to get into another thing. So what men and women are attracted to are completely different. We know that, right? We know what we're attracted to. We're attracted to looks, nice body, tits, ass, a feminine woman, a woman that shows appreciation. What are the things that women are truly attracted to? The stuff that they won't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes to the difference, right? I like to look at it like this. If you and your boy, you know, you guys are talking, you're talking about a woman that you just met for the first time, you just started dating. What's the first question that you're gonna ask your boy? It's gonna be like, well, what does she look like?
Yeah, how'd it go?
How'd it go? What does this woman look like? I need to see her. You know, because as men we value looks so much, like that's our number one thing. But when you're around women and they describe like, oh, you know, how was meeting this guy? She's gonna start off from a place of like how the guy made her feel, like things that the guy did, and that's really what speaks to, you know, the initial attraction for a woman, and then maybe over time she'll get into like showing her girls like what he looks like and so on and so forth. So women are really attracted to the substance that you have under the surface, right? They really, really are. And when you're able to show up and make a woman feel, you know, not being that square, showcasing your personality, making sure that you're able to like emotionally engage a woman when you talk to her and when you're around her, and just being that guy who, you know, I talk about this all the time with my clients, like be that guy who can make a woman feel seen and feel heard. You know what I mean? Like when you're with a woman, what's the biggest thing that happens when guys are on dates with women? It's like an interview.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, you sitting down, she's across the table, she's like, you know, she's all the way over there, you're all the way over here, and you guys are, you know, chomping down some spaghetti and meatballs or something at this overpriced restaurant that you took her to, right? Right? And
100%.
then you guys are going on and you're talking about, you know, what it is she's doing for work, and you're getting so wrapped into the weeds of like all of these topics that you're so used to, like you meeting somebody at a business meeting, okay? And the reality is women hate this shit.
Mm-hmm.
They hate it. And they're really just looking for a guy that, you know, initially could just look at them, notice little things about them, point little things out about them, like make the woman feel seen, right? Make the woman feel seen. Shut your mouth half the time. How many times are guys going on dates and they're just boasting about everything that they do, and I did this and I did this, and she's sitting like, She's texting her girlfriend like, hey, you know, could you call me in a couple minutes because I need to, you know, I got some sort of emergency or something, and then you sit there at the end of the date, or or you get you're waiting for a text back from her, and you get that you either don't hear from her at all, you get a text message saying like, hey, I had a great time and yada yada, but I don't really see this working out.
Yeah, you mentioned this before we started filming. Like, guys will sit there and talk about their crypto and try to show off and brag about how successful they are. And they're like, you're not giving her what she wants, what she needs. Yeah. You're not stimulating her emotions,
not
right?
At all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
You're trying to win her feelings over by showing off the style of life that you have, the status, how much you make, also what you do. You have to make it about them. You have to make them feel good.
Yeah.
Because women are emotional beings.
Absolutely.
It's just a fact. And you have to get them to open up emotional, and in emotional, not like make them cry.
No.
More like make them feel good.
Yeah.
And then she won't forget you.
You're memorable.
It'll be a memorable experience, and she'll want a second date, a third date, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where people, just in general, people in life, they'll remember you, even though maybe they haven't spoken to you in a month, a year, 10 years, or however long you haven't spoken or communicated to one another, but they'll always remember what you feel, how you made them feel.
How you made them feel, right? Bro, when you leave a date, she's not thinking about, the sports car that you mentioned to her that you were looking to get pretty soon, or the new job that you were looking to get pretty soon. She's simply going to go home, and she's going to associate you with a feeling. When I was on that date, what did I feel? Did I feel the way they describe it is, I didn't feel the spark. I didn't feel the chemistry. We just didn't have it.
They always say that.
They always say that, right? What is that, right? What is the spark? What is the chemistry? It's a combination of, like, when you're able to communicate with a woman, you make her feel seen, you make her feel heard, but also, like, you need to drop all of these things that you think are important on these first dates. You need to drop it, bro. It doesn't matter right now. You need to be present in this moment. You know what I mean? The woman is right in front of you. All of the conversation topics you need is right in front of you.
Yeah.
Guys are always going in like, what are the questions I should ask her on a first date? What should I cover? What should I do here? What should I do here? And then the guy that's winning her over is going on the date, and he's like, you seeing these walls right here? These are like, this place is insane. And he's like picking up like, you know what? I noticed you do this little thing with your hands. Like, I think that's adorable. And he's like literally making her feel seen. And he's commenting on the fact that, she's got a little bit of a cute accent, and he's playing around and trying to guess where that is. And we haven't talked about work. We haven't talked about anything like that. And yet, magically, at the end of the date, she wants to see you again. She wants to continue things. And it's because, I think so many guys get so caught up in being so serious and so logical and all this shit. It's like, it's really, you got to find that side of yourself that could just drop all that shit and just enjoy the moment you're in.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think that's the most common thing is men try to have a logical back and forth conversation, and it's very mundane. It doesn't trigger anything within her.
Mm-hmm. Well, women aren't logical, so you can't really be logical with women that have emotions and have all these feelings. You have to make them, as you said, feel, and you have to make them feel good if you want them to come back, and you want to be able to capture a potential serious relationship, make it even further than that, maybe marriage, although not recommended here on the podcast, guys. We know when we talked about marriage many times and what that's like, but at least have a serious commitment and be able to have something special with the woman, because I think that's what all men and women want, is a special relationship. Women are always complaining where all the good guys are at, why am I single? Right? So these are things that could potentially give you and that woman a relationship in the future. I mean,
So here's the question now. So how does a man make a woman emotionally connect with him? Through conversation.
Yeah, I think a bit of what we said before, but I think the other part of it that we haven't talked about is, like, a woman can emotionally connect with you if you're completely closed off too, right? Like, you remember back to what we were saying before, you could see all these things about this guy. he's funny, he's this, he's that. But when you put a woman in the room, those things disappear. You know, I had a client that just came on board a little bit ago. I'd say a couple of weeks, and we talked about himself. We talked about, brother, what do you love about yourself? Like, talk to me about your personality. He's like, you know, I'm a really funny guy. I love that I have a huge sense of humor. And I said, do women get to see that? And he, you know what he told me? He's like, no, they don't. And it's like, there's part of your problem, right?
That's crazy because women like men that have a sense of humor that can make them laugh.
Right.
You hear that a lot.
Right. But the thing is, right, if you're not showing up as yourself, then you really have no shot, right? She needs to see like different sides of yourself, your funny side, your semi-serious side, your unserious side. She needs to hear you throw out a take or something that you agree with or don't agree with. She needs to get this full scope of who you are and an idea of who you are, and she's going to be able to connect with you, right? And then on top of that, all the other things we talked about before in terms of conversation. You know, keeping the conversation about the woman, you know, going in and paying attention, being there in the present moment. One thing that not only helps you now, but that helps you if you ever get into a relationship too, right? Because the biggest thing that you'll see women say is, my man is never present. He's never present, right? So that what that means is like, we're as men, we get so focused on like all of this extra shit that's not in the room with us. Right? And we're so focused on that like women are like really just craving guys to just sit down with them and just enjoy, like, I'm here, you're here. Let's just enjoy what's happening right now. And if you could, I don't even want to say it's a skill. Like, if you could just step into that world, bro, women become so uncomplicated. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, if you build the camaraderie with that woman, then her level of comfort with that guy is going to skyrocket. I mean, it's going to be where she wants to be around him all the time. He's irresistible.
Yeah.
So if he does certain things and doesn't hold back, he may be holding back on so many good qualities that women see that guy has, and she's like, oh, wow, this is an amazing guy. I didn't know about this. If I knew about this, then we would have been dating sooner. Or
exactly.
If she and him had one date or two and then didn't work out, she's dating another guy, and then all of a sudden she sees this guy on Instagram, kind of like a whole different persona, goes about life a different way, and that girl was a girl that guy really liked, and he's maybe single now and she's with somebody else, then he may have a regret on missing out on that woman because he held back and didn't put out all the positives about himself.
Yeah, another thing I'll say with this is super. This is another huge thing I see so many times. It aggravates me. Okay, guys, you need to understand that if you don't flirt with a woman, if you don't build this connection where it's like you answer the question in her mind, like, does this guy, you know, can I look at this guy as not a friend? If you don't answer that question in her head, it really, like, nothing we're talking about matters at all. Okay, I see a lot of guys who they accidentally build a friendship instead of building a connection or building something romantic, right? And I would say the biggest advice for guys is like you wanna talk to a woman like how, in the sense of like you guys are already in a romantic sense, right? And what I mean by that is, you know, think about what friends would talk about. You know, friends, we're gonna exchange information. We're gonna talk about crypto. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about all these different things, right? Biggest advice I give to guys is like, let's talk about doing things together. I mean, instead of talking about crypto, it's like, all right, you're into crypto. Sounds like you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to come over and be my crypto teacher. You're gonna have to show me this or show me that. Right? Like, start painting a picture of you guys in a more together sense, and stop like over focusing on like she talks about her and asks me questions and I talk about me and ask her questions. Like, bring the conversation together and you'll be amazed at how much like it starts to feel more like romantic.
Yeah. I mean, if you bring it together and you set up more of an intimate setting, I think that's an advantage that men will have to lead the way of a serious relationship, dating, could be friends with benefits and then maybe a relationship, whatever the case may be. But you have to get more in women's minds psychologically, and in showing your interests, you're not showing her that you want to be friends with her, because a lot of women try to friend zone you if possible. And if you act like a friend, or if you're nice to her and you don't show that intimate romantic type of interest, she's not going to see you as a romantic partner. She's just going to see you as, oh, well, I can lean on this guy if I have any problems, and he's a shoulder to cry on, and he's just a friend. He's not serious. Men need to show interest from the get-go, so they don't land in the friend zone right away.
Exactly. And you gotta be okay with, like, if I show interest, it may not lead to where I want it to go. But there's your answer. Would you rather get rejected by a woman because you showed interest, or would you rather just sit in a friend zone, like hoping and praying, like, oh, maybe one day she'll change her mind? You know, I talk to guys all the time, like, run your dating life in a way where you just want to eliminate the what if question. You know what I mean? Eliminate the what if. I see too many guys who are playing this boundary of, like, oh, well, you know, maybe one day when I decide to flirt with this girl after 2 months, maybe we'll potentially get into something. Brother, you should have been flirting with her from the moment that you guys started talking.
From the beginning.
From the beginning, because that's going to tell you, like, that's going to give you a sense of where she's at. And if you see that she's not where you want her to be and she's not interested, you take that information and you just go the other way, right? We're not here to make a bunch of friends
or pen pals,
right? That's not really the goal, right?
Yeah,
so
it may be too late in the game by then. She may see you as a friend, someone just to hang out with, to hear her story, to just go around and do some, you know, friendly activities with. You have to show interest from the get-go, so she knows that, okay, this guy's interested in me in a romantic setting.
Yeah.
And that'll save guys a ton of time. I've seen guys that go after women. They act like they're, you know, friends. They try to win her over by doing friendly things, being nice. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, she's screwing around with a guy that didn't see her as a friend.
Exactly.
That saw her as a romantic partner. You know, she may be talking to you. You may think that she's talking to you, but really the case is that she's just having you around for maybe her emotional moments. She doesn't want to be by herself. She needs somebody around. The guy that is basically behind the scenes, you can say, quote unquote, digging her out, isn't around, or maybe he upset her, so she needs some comfort. She's going to go on someone that she can lean on, and that's that friend that she made. That guy may not realize she's a friend, but he's going to end up finding out the hard way if he's not upfront about his intentions.
Absolutely.
Another thing I
100%.
learned, you know, over the years, like making mistakes in the past, is like you have to like strike when the iron's hot. Like if you see that opportunity that the girl's interested in you, you have to act on it right away. Because if you wait and if you're too passive and like maybe you want to show her you're a gentleman, you're not going to try to get in her pants right away, you can easily blow the whole thing.
Yeah, I think women give windows of opportunity, right? I think they give you this window where you have a shot, but that window could close,
And you're done for.
It could close, and then you're done for. You may never get that opportunity again.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
And a good example of that is like a woman could, let's say she's freshly single, right? And she's showing you interest, or maybe you guys go on a date together and she's maybe putting herself a little bit out there, and you could get a sense that she's looking for something, maybe a one night stand or something like that. If you're not taking those opportunities, doors just going to close on you, right?
Yeah. The opportunity came and went. Literally, the opportunity was knocking on your door, and you didn't open the door. You kept it locked.
Yeah.
And you lost it.
Yeah, I think being passive as a man is just such a tough place to be, right? Like, I think overall, you want to be in a position. Like, I would much rather, as a man, like having been both guys. I've been the passive guy, and then I've been the guy that just shoots his shot like crazy. I would rather be the guy that could at least put himself out there and shoot his shot, rather than the guy who just sits around playing what if. Right. And then somewhere in the middle of those two stages, you start to figure out, like, you start to get efficient with it. You know what I mean? But you gotta be like, if there's two guys that you would be, it's definitely the guy that could just shoot his shot and be okay with either result.
Yeah, because what if you shoot your shot and it's a yes?
Yeah.
You got the in.
Yeah.
You got maybe the first couple dates, 2-3 dates. It could lead to something, could lead to a relationship, and you got your girl right there. If it's a no, then you found out and you didn't waste all this time, what if, trying to plan out different scenarios. Well, if I see her here, I'm going to do this. If she's at the gym and she's working out, I'm going to try to slide up next to her and talk to her. And you wait for that perfect moment.
No.
That'll never come.
Bro, but that's a pattern with men, right? Men, like we're fit with patterns. If you're the type of guy who always waits for the perfect moment, it's always gonna fly you by. And then you'll take a step back from dating, and then that's the same thing with everything else. Right? Like you're always waiting for the perfect moment here. You're always waiting for the perfect moment here, bro. Act. Like just take action.
Just do it.
It's okay. Like just take action and you'll learn and see so much at the end of the day.
Exactly. I mean, again, it's a huge time saver. You see a lot of guys out there that, again, they are slow and steady and they don't make a move and whatnot. And it's a whole detrimental situation towards them. They end up going through it. They end up feeling down and out. Like, oh, she doesn't like me. Why doesn't she like me? Well, it's not that she disappointed you. It's that you disappointed yourself.
Yeah.
What didn't you do? You didn't take action early enough.
Yeah.
You were waiting for the best moment to try to lay it down.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out. You didn't try. And you didn't get a no when you could have gotten a yes. When you don't try, you can't get a yes. You can't get a no, but you also can't get a yes.
Yeah. You
Absolutely.
stay in the middle.
You get nothing. So all these things is where men need to really focus on not disappointing themselves, is really being okay with letting a woman turn you down, disappoint you. At least now you know that that's not the woman to deal with. Let me move on to another woman and figure out if she likes me. I'll try to ask her out or try to start some sort of conversation to lead towards asking her out, show interest, show romantic interest, and see what happens. And eventually, the more no's you get, eventually you'll run into a yes.
Absolutely.
I have one final
100%.
topic for us before we wrap it up because we're getting near an hour. There's a lot of content out there right now. There's a lot of big YouTubers that are focusing on looks maxing.
Oh my goodness.
I won't say his name. The guy that said you have to hit your jaw with a hammer, that you have to put makeup on. What's your take on the whole looks maxing thing?
If you watch a dating coach and they are telling you that the key to getting more women is to focus on your jaw and try to do all these crazy tactics to quote unquote looks max, you're just straight up getting scammed at the end of the day, right? If you just like logically think about this for 2 seconds, like just turn your brain off for 2 seconds, or maybe actually turn your brain on for 2 seconds, right? And just think about it. If you are simply going and trying to looks max to try to attract women, I have bad news for you, brother. It just isn't going to work out for you, right? It just isn't going to work out for you. And not only is it not going to work out for you, but you're going to get into situations where you get into this trap thinking that your looks are all that's going to matter, right? Back to what we talked about before, where you just try to avoid all of the things that women are actually attracted to, and you try to just take a bunch of shortcuts, and it's just never going to work out for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of an equivalent of women getting a boob job, getting the BBL.
I was going to say it's something that women do. Women looks max.
Women looks max because they are depending on getting attraction from men based on their looks. So that's a different story. But I still suggest to women out there that natural is always better.
Absolutely.
Avoid the BBL. You want a bigger bottom, get in the gym, do some squats.
Yeah.
Simple.
But why are men falling into that, right? Let's talk about that. Like, why are men falling into it?
Into the BBLs and all that?
Well, no. Why are they
maxing?
falling into these looks maxing
looks
things
maxing?
and all of these things that they think is going to get them the result?
They probably just don't see any way out. They think that maybe their looks are going to win the woman over.
Yeah.
As maybe one aspect of trying to get an attraction from her, trying to get attention from her. But at the end of the day, women aren't all about looks.
No.
They're a whole book,
No.
and there's different chapters in that book.
Yeah.
And one thing women will look at is a guy 6 feet or taller, and unfortunately, some guys don't make the cut.
Mhm.
So they end up having to figure out, well, I got to find a way to be a short king,
Yeah.
because if not, then I'm going to be stuck. So
Yeah.
aside from being 6 foot tall or higher, what can men do? They can work on just mentally, right? Personality wise, work on their emotions, controlling their emotions, not being way too emotional, not being way, when something happens, not flipping out and being angry, having a short fuse. All these other things men can work on. Yes, we did talk about not leading with money, but men need money to date. It's just what it is. So don't lead with it, but you do need it to date. You need all these things. So it's not just one aspect of looks that men should be focusing on. They should be focusing on all different aspects to make themselves better, and as a byproduct, women will be attracted to that.
Here's the thing: instead of doing all of this weird jawline stuff, if you want to look smacks, is very simple, right? Get a haircut that fits you, lose some body fat, right? Just get in shape. Number one, build an aesthetic that works for yourself. It's really that simple, right? Like I think so many men are trying to like find a way to actually, find the final answer of what's going to finally attract women, and you remove all of the things that actually will attract the woman. You think that the looks are going to be the only thing. Look, there's a guy out there right now that looks like freaking Barney, okay? And he has the woman you want, and he doesn't care about any of those things. He's not looking for to try to craft his jawline in a way, because he realizes that it's himself that's really attracting the woman on the surface.
Of course.
Right? And that's the truth. That's the reality. And at the end of the day, the more you can come to face that, the easier everything's going to be for you.
Yeah, I think the young guys out there that are being influenced by these looks maxing influencers saying that you should do certain things to your face, it's not going to end well. No. And, it may have worked for an influencer. He's doing big, and, props to him, to each their own, but you shouldn't take it upon yourself to try to do something that could affect you negatively for the long term. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're really changing your appearance in that way. That could really hurt you for a long time.
But just look at the principle of it, right? Like, why are you trying to look smacks? You're trying to look smacks for what? For the approval of more women to come into your life?
The approval of others.
The approval of others, the approval of women. Like, if you guys, look at that in itself, I think it's just needy. Right? It's just, again, another shortcut that you're trying to use, and it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think the reason people fall for that stuff is because, like you said before, people are either looking for a shortcut or they're looking for some magic pill that's going to change their life. And truth is, every 6 months in a year, there's going to be another trend.
Yeah.
The looks maxing is going to fade away, and they're going to come up with some other bullshit. And it's just looking for some magic answer to your problems.
But here's the thing, right? Like, what easier thing to say is a problem for a guy other than something that he literally has no control over, right? Like, what easier thing to come up with an excuse? I'll give you guys a quick little story, right?
Go for it.
One of my first ever clients was this kid. He was about 22 years old, and he came to me. This kid was physically attractive. Like, he was in good shape. He was a physically attractive kid. This kid cowered in the face of women constantly. He was constantly getting rejected. He could not figure out why. He was watching guys on social media. He was watching looks maxing channels that convinced him that the reason that he wasn't getting women is because of looks maxing. Because he didn't have the right jawline, because his forehead was too, all of these things. He convinced himself so much that was what the real problem was. His worth was completely destroyed. There you go. It was completely done. And as I was trying to coach this kid, he couldn't get over that hump. He couldn't get out of that belief system that he just simply wasn't good enough, and it was just the cards he was dealt, and it's just his genetics.
I think
it's so sad.
Yeah, it is sad. I mean, everybody's differences makes them unique, which makes them special. And if people don't realize that and use that more or less as an advantage than a disadvantage, then they're not going to get anywhere with women.
Yeah.
It's just a simple fact. And it's not just about the looks. You know, again, for men, women don't always look at looks for men. You know, as SB mentioned, there's women out there that date guys that look like Barney. You know, they date guys that have an interesting hairdo or dress interesting. Not to hate on how guys dress or look or whatnot, but it's not the end all be all for men.
No.
There's other things that men need to focus on because women want a whole variety of things they expect from men to bring to the table.
Control what you can control, bro.
100%.
Control. Why are you wasting time worried about what you can't control? Worried about what race you are? Worried about your height? Worried about, like, there comes a point where you just have to accept yourself, right? You have to accept yourself and focus on what you can focus on. Everybody could build a stronger mind. Everybody could build a stronger level of self-love and confidence. Like, you're focusing on the wrong stuff, bro. You really are.
100%. You can control going to the gym.
Mhm.
You can control what you put in your mouth.
Yep.
That's one thing. So, you know, are you going to the gym? Are you doing what it takes to dress good? You can buy some good clothes, look good. The grooming, are you grooming well? The haircut, is everything well put together overall as a man? I think that's things that you can't control. You can't control your height. You can't control certain situations that you stumble across in life. But there's a bunch of things you can control. Deal with what you can control, improve on those, and then the right women will recognize those and radiate in your direction.
Absolutely, baby. It's all about your energy, man. It's all about your energy towards yourself, and that really just transfers over. When a woman sees a guy that they could look at and they could tell is just secure in himself, okay, just knows like this man has accepted himself fully, and she sees that energy transfers over, bro. You know, and it transfers over to not just women, like people in general see that. You know, how many times have you just looked at a certain type of guy and you're like, wow, like that guy, he's not worried about what people are thinking about him, and you know, he's just fully himself, and this is what is attractive nowadays, or really across time. This is what's always been attractive.
100%. I mean, again, we're keeping it real here on the podcast, guys, in 2026. And one of the things I'm going to say is fuck everybody's opinions of you.
Exactly.
Be you, do you, and you'll be successful because of it.
Absolutely, bro.
Awesome.
Awesome
We
stuff.
went a little bit over an hour. What do you guys say? We'll wrap it up slowly and switch over to the live?
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up.
sure.
Going to keep this about a little over an hour, keep it short. We could go a little longer, but we do want to do the live and give you guys some of that sauce. So we're going to have SB back on the live. Well, actually, you guys are going to see the live before you see this episode. So if you didn't see the live the day we shot it, make sure you go back to the live. It was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. So check it out. The live with SB, we're going to get into more of these phenomenal topics here. So we'll start wrapping it up real quick. SB, do you want to let the people know where they can find you one last time?
Absolutely. So you guys can find me on Instagram at sbdating._. You can find me on YouTube at Scott and then space letter E. Again, I help men out in terms of building a secure version of themselves that women love and quality women are actually looking for.
Awesome. We have an expert on the show coming over, second time. Last time was Czar. Shout out to Czar of Dating. And SB, always an honor to have you on. We'll have you back, of course. Aside from the live, we have some projects in the future that we'll do together. We'll work
Absolutely.
together. So we're happy to be a part of it and happy to have you here. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, fellas.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. So, guys, again, check out the live that we already did. So go back to that with SB Dating. And, again, subscribe to the channel. Support your boys. We're aiming for 100K. We're far away, but slowly but surely
I'm going to make it.
we'll get there. So jump on the train. Let's take you for the ride. Support your boys. Subscribe to the channel, the podcast, guys. all the platforms that I mentioned at the beginning, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.